This is the game plan. Let's go. When the team's on the air, you better know that it's over. These dudes colder than wintertime, grab a pullover. And if Cordell starts to speak, better know that it's on. He shut you down before you speak to let you know that you're wrong. So get your facts right, homie, before you step in the flames. Because James hates sitting down and listening to lames. And if Danny got $1 for every show that he kills, he'd be a millionaire living up in Beverly Hills. But if Holden wasn't a good guy, you'd probably be dead. Because this dude won't stop until he gets in your head. So turn the volume right up because the game plan is on. The best in sports commentary is right after this song. Peace.
Welcome in and good evening. I'm your host, as always, Cordell Moody. You are tuned into the game plan. I got my man, as always, Eric Alvarado. Eric, how's it going? How's it going?
I'm good, man. It's good to be back. I'm really starting to feel like at home here.
Yeah, man. Another hump day for us. About to get into it.
That's right.
You know, there's this is the point where everybody's struggling, ready for the weekend to come, and especially with football. I know everybody's excited about that. And then right around the corner from football on Sunday, we got basketball starting up next week, and we're going to talk a little NBA today too. There is a lot, as usual, to get into, but we have to start with the big story that everybody is still talking about, that we're going to continue to talk about to keep everybody updated, and it is obviously about the protest, but this time going on a different angle, and we're talking strictly Jerry Jones, because Jerry Jones, in fact, actually has a little bit of a complaint going on from Local 100. It is a laboring union, and they have complaints against him because of his statement that he came out with about if the players do not stand, they will not play. And his hard stance has made a reaction, and the National Labor Relations Act is going to try and get a lawsuit so that to defend the players, I guess, in a way, because they are saying that it is against the law.
Mm-hmm. And this is, so everybody knows, a local union in Texas.
Yes. This is a local union in Texas. And basically what they're saying is that Jones' statement violates the National Labor Relations Act because it showed he's attempting to threaten, coerce, and intimidate all Dallas Cowboys players on the roster in order to prevent them from exercising concerted activity protected under the act by saying that he will fire the players involved in such concerted activity. So this is going towards exactly what I was talking about yesterday, as far as this is not something that should be allowed to be done, even if it is a private company. This is my belief, because he is imposing his will, his political views onto his players and saying, this is how I want you guys to act because this is how I feel, and you're taking away how they feel. Has your position at all changed? Because I know yesterday it was, if your boss tells you to do this, you're going to do that. So are you still leaning in that same direction, or do you have a little bit of a change of thought? Where's your head at with this still?
I'm still going to lean in the same direction as I was yesterday. It still just comes down to the fact that if the person that's writing my checks tells me to do something, and I want to make sure that the livelihood of me and my family is well and good, I'm going to do exactly what he says. Now, if it does end up being something illegal, then, cross that bridge when we get there. But until then, that's my boss. He pays me. I'm going to listen to him. As much as I don't want to do it, you grin and bite your teeth all you want.
Well, I was thinking about it more yesterday after we finished our show, and then thinking about it again today. And I brought up yesterday about if they unify the football players themselves, if they unify together, they have a lot more power than the owner himself. And then I thought about it, and I heard it today, and I completely forgot about it when the Clippers basically threw out their own owner. The Clippers players, as when the racist remarks were released, if you remember that issue that they had, right? And the players,
well, with the recordings, right?
Right. And then the players unified together, protested him, and he was out real quick. It wasn't anything that he could do about it. He was gone because if you need the players, the players have a lot of power if they unify together, more than one man does. So
yes.
This is this was what I was talking about yesterday, and I realized that, and I know that it's obviously easier to get 15 players to unify than 53 players to unify.
Right.
But it just speaks towards the fact that they have that power if they actually wanted to exercise it, and they're not going to, and that is why they're enabling Jerry Jones to do this. So now we have an outside source coming to the defense of the few who are in that locker room who obviously are getting their voices stripped from them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wouldn't go as far as much to say that the players have the power, like in every sense of the like they just, especially in that whole LA Clippers debacle, it's just that they put so much pressure on him by raising so much awareness to what was going on. It was almost like he had no other choice.
Right.
And I also and I think it came to as far as David Stern actually like told him that he has to sell his team, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, he sold his team. He was out of there.
And I think he just had
him.
he had no choice. And I think, like you said, it's going to be a lot harder to get 53 people on board.
Yep.
Rather than
the
15.
Yeah.
And especially, you got a much more diverse group with the 53 than you do with the 15. It's much more diverse. It's not African American dominant like you would see on an NBA team.
Right.
But it's gonna be a slippery slope, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jerry Jones, the billionaire, found some legal loophole around this and is able to get what he wants.
Unless, Trump finds a way to bend the rules for him, because that's exactly what he's already come out as well, and full support of Jerry Jones and what he said. And obviously there is the memo that Roger Goodell did drop to the other 32 owners about he wants to be able to make progress and not continue just making protest. So I am curious to see exactly where this goes moving forward into next week when they have this owners meeting, and if they actually do something that is progressive, or are they going to do something that's going to strip away the players' ability to speak and voice their minds. And if they do that, I think they're going to have another entirely different issue on their hands. Just saying.
Like what you think though? Like anything in mind?
Well,
like you think it's just going to be like a huge backlash and it's going to be like uproar?
It's going to be, because okay, if you look at the NFL this way, the NFL right now is being trapped in all corners as a business. So on one side, you have people who have decided already that they were boycotting until Kaepernick plays again, and those people are for real, and they are out there, and they are boycotting. They're a minority, but they're out there. Now you have people on the other side who are boycotting the NFL because of this anthem situation. Okay, then we've already had women who've had issues with the NFL and decide to boycott because of domestic violence and issues such as that. Now, if you strip away these players' voices, then the people who do support this protest and understand what this protest is for, they may start boycotting. You are getting boycotted from so many different angles. The pressure is unreal. So that's why I'm saying they can't afford to keep on getting backlashes like these. Like there is no winning when it comes to this. They need to make up their mind and go in one direction. They cannot keep teeter-tottering on both sides, because more and more people are going to have issues with the NFL.
Well, that's been my entire take really from the get. Like, there is no winner in this. Nobody's going to win. They continue to kneel with this given circumstances right now. No, they're not going anywhere. It's not. There's no end game. There's no winner. You know what I mean? Everybody's gonna lose in the end if it goes down the road it's going right now.
That I don't see that to be the case, because once the players stand, everything is over and everything goes quiet and everything goes back to the status quo, and then nobody's talking about anything.
I get it, but like, say they continue to kneel, right?
Yeah.
And they keep doing it, and nothing really, like, they don't lose their jobs or anything crazy. They keep playing games. Maybe there's uproar about, still about disrespecting the flag and whatnot, and Donald Trump still gets on his Twitter and flexes his Twitter fingers still. And they keep kneeling. where do they win? Like, what's the result?
Well, see, the result will have to come from the other side because what they said, well, what
Which
Kaepernick
side?
started, this obviously the side anti-protest.
Oh,
So,
yeah, okay.
so what this protest originally started with was we are going to continue to kneel until X, Y, and Z changes happen, or we see X, Y, and Z results on the verge of happening, or whatever have you. Just progress. That's what we're looking for. All right. So that if you stop kneeling, first of all, that means you've gone against your word. No matter if it's gotten hijacked or whatever have you, you know what you're kneeling for, and as long as you keep on kneeling, we're going to have to keep on having these conversations and keep on reminding people why you are truly kneeling. Even though Trump is saying this and saying that, you and me are always on here and we're talking about what the real reason why they're kneeling is for. And that is why the conversation is still going to continue to happen.
We are.
Right.
We are, but we aren't the majority. Like,
No,
that's
well,
not everybody's talking about it the way they should be, and that's the problem.
not everybody is, but usually when one person isn't talking about it the way that you and I are, there's somebody else on the other side who is, and they're usually debating about it, going back and forth about it, so that it's always mentioned. Now, eventually, if you keep on kneeling, the way I see it is that the people who do not want you to kneel, the people who want you to respect the flag, maybe they will be like, you know what, let's make this progress so that they can stop doing this. Like, that's how simple it is. Make progress and they stop kneeling. That's how
it seems simple.
No, well, it's easier
seems
said than
simple,
done. Yes.
Much, because it's a very complex
Yes.
issue, and it takes a lot of work
Yes.
for it to get done.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But baby steps would be a nice sign.
Exactly.
I'm on your side with that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is keep on kneeling until you see the results you want to see. And if everybody wants to keep being stubborn, then no sweat off my back. I'm just going to keep on kneeling. I'm still playing my games. I'm still getting my money. I'm still helping this team win. I'm just saying that I do not like how this is being done in the United States of America. And that's no sweat off my back. Until somebody starts threatening me, then that's a different issue because apparently there have been threats made to players throughout this year because of that. But that's another story for another time. But
yeah, and just real quickly, and if it doesn't get resolved, and we don't get something soon, I mean, it's gonna start getting ugly quick.
yes, it will. And speaking of it getting ugly, I am fully expecting this to become a lot bigger starting next week when the NBA starts back up. And when the NBA starts back up, because the NBA players have been very strong when it comes to advocating about social issues. That LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade, they the stars of the league, even at the ESPYs when they stood together and made that speech, they have always come strong and they've come correct when it comes to dealing with these things. And you'd have to think when the NBA season starts, they're not going to just let the NBA be the only ones out here advocating for the voiceless. So I fully 100% expect things to escalate to another level, and I fully 100% expect for Trump to get involved in that too.
So do you see like faces like LeBron and Curry and Durant all taking knees during the anthem?
Now I don't know because their situation's a bit different because unlike the NFL, it is in their bylaws that they are not allowed to kneel during the anthem.
But do you see it anyway?
You know what? If they do, I will give them 100% credit if they do that because they are
of course you got to
they are
golden set and steel set.
Yeah, they are sacrificing more than NFL players are sacrificing because the NFL players aren't getting any type of penalty as of right now for what they're doing. So you're telling me that NBA players will go so far as to break the rules and take those penalties to make their point? Now I couldn't see them doing that for 82 games. That's a lot of games to keep getting yourself in trouble. So I don't know what they're going to do, but I do believe that they have to do something creative. And I think the pressure is on them to do so because as you already mentioned before, the NFL is, very diverse. Even though it's majority African American, it isn't known as, a African American sport or anything. It's just a diverse league. But the NBA, that is known way more for being a African American black
African
athlete
American dominated. Yeah.
right? So I feel like the pressure is more on them, and everybody's going to be looking towards them, especially because you've already had Curry saying he's not going to the White House to visit Trump. You've got LeBron calling him a bum. Like, the expectations are there, and if they don't do anything, I'm sure that they'll get a backlash for not doing something. They're just as much in a situation as the NFL. The only difference is their season hasn't started yet.
Yeah. I mean, if I could just give them words of advice, not that they're going to listen to Eric Alvarado, me from New Jersey, but if they were to listen, I would suggest that whatever they do decide to do, just don't do it during the national anthem. And this is my reasoning.
Go ahead.
And it's pretty simple. The NBA has a good following, but it's not like the following of the NFL. And it has been known that NBA's regular season games, their TV ratings have been down. And it hasn't been too well. And if they start like the NFL, if the people who, like, the factions of people who are disgusted by this whole protest, they stop viewing, it's not totally hurting the NFL's ratings that much. Right. So they can take that hit. The NBA, I'm not sure they can take that kind of hit.
It's interesting that you actually bring that up. I do want to get into that, and we will get into it because it actually leads into our next topic. So everybody, don't move. We will be right back on WUBA 88.1 FM with Eric Alvarado, and me is, of course, your host, Cordell Moody. We'll be right back. And we are back. It's Hump Day. It's Cordell Moody. It's Eric Alvarado. It's the Game Plan. And we just left off with you guys, talking to you guys about the NBA. NBA season is starting up next week. I know a lot of people are excited. I know I'm excited. A lot of things to talk about the NBA, and we will get to it all. But the last thing we talked about was the ratings for the NBA and the fact that maybe they can't take a hit like the NFL is taking because NFL is king when it comes to the United States of America, at least. But there's new studies coming out that's saying that the NBA may be where it's at and that they're trending up. And one of the people who's saying that is Tillman Fertitta, Rockets' new owner, who's saying that, owning an NBA team is a safer bet right now than an NFL team. So there's been projections that the NBA actually is steadily going up. Their value is going up for their teams as owners. Do you think that maybe, just maybe, the NBA could dethrone the NFL one day, especially with, like we said, you've got women who with their issues with domestic violence going against the NFL. You have people against pro-Kaepernick, anti-Kaepernick, pro-protest, anti-protest, pro-Trump, anti-Trump. It's all over the place. Do you think that? Do you think that maybe, just maybe not this year, but projecting forward 5-10 years, maybe NBA's dethrones them and becomes the new king?
I can't believe you're even asking me that. No, never. It just won't. It won't happen, and it's just. The NFL is just too popular. Football is just too popular. I'm not saying that the NBA can't become much more increasingly unpopular than it is right now. It's just it will never surpass the NFL. I mean, the NFL they own a day of the week, for God's sake. Like and the NBA will never have that kind of hold on the American society. You know what I'm saying?
All right, well, let me flip it a little bit. Let me add something else to it for you. I haven't thrown this little spice in yet. I wanted to save it for right now. So what about this fact? We've got this whole issue at CTE. We've got this whole and we have people who are against that too. Now, there are parents who do not want their children to play football because it is so violent, and they are worried about their well-being. and then you have ex-NFL players who are suffering greatly because of their career. But then you look at the NBA, and when you look at the NBA, there's nobody who's saying they don't want their child to play basketball. They don't have those issues. The NBA players who are retired, they're cool. I mean, maybe some of them may have like a little bit of knee issues or whatever have you, but for the most part, they're cool. They're healthy. They remember their families. They can go on to live long, prosperous lives. It's completely. So that's why I'm saying the trajectory moving forward, maybe more kids start playing basketball rather than playing football because of these safety hazards as well. You still don't see it even when you add that little nugget to the equation.
No, just because, like, although the CTE studies have been more recent and they put a name on it and they've coined it, the damage and the injuries have always been there. Now it has a name, and that's never changed. People are still playing football. That it's just because of the name is now the damage to the brain has been given a name. It is not going to change anything.
But it's not even just given a name. Now we're seeing what the results are from it. We're seeing suicides. We're seeing.
Personally, I think if you needed somebody like a doctor to come out and tell you, like, hey, football's a dangerous sport and it's really bad for your brain, I think if you needed somebody to tell you that, then I don't know what you're watching, because it's clear that humans are not meant to be playing football when you really think about it.
Right.
We're not meant to be doing that, but people do, and they're going to continue to play.
But it's one thing to be told it. It's another thing to witness and see it. It's the one, and then to see it covered in the news daily. That's a completely different animal. That's why.
I get it.
Right. So that's why
I get it. But let me put it in this kind of perspective. The same thing can be said about other things in American society, such as alcohol and cigarettes. Like, everybody knows that they're bad for you. But that hasn't stopped the industry from growing.
I see.
You know what I mean? People, just because something's dangerous and people know about it, it's not going to stop them from doing it. You know what I mean? Because, one, they enjoy it, or, in the case of those other addicting substances, they get addicted to it. But, like, it's the same kind of thing. Like, people know that this is dangerous for you. It's not going to stop them from doing it.
I see. But the only difference with this is that it starts with the parents. If the parents never sign the kids up for football, the kid's just never going to play football. That's just how it is. It's with alcohol or cigarettes, it's up to that individual person to go out there and do it. But if the parent doesn't want you to do it, it's a wrap. So
it's a wrap, and I'm sure more than ever there's going to be more and more parents that are not going to allow their kids to play football. I know a few friends of mine who said, "My kid's not playing football." And, I'm sure that number is increasing, but it's never going to be enough to where it's going to hurt the sport.
Okay. I mean, I hope not. And then also with these.
Yeah, I think we all hope not.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody would like to see no more football.
Yeah. And then I think, honestly, there's going to be there will be a new complaint moving forward, because it's already started. I've heard the whispers that the fact that we are so obsessed with not getting concussions and the CTE for the NFL, now, man, the injuries to the legs have grown exponentially.
Yes. Well, that's also because of, them forcing them to
hit lower,
target a certain area, and they're like, well, if I can't hit you up here, I gotta hit you down here. There. So that's going to be an ever-changing process, and one day hopefully they'll get it totally figured out. But along the lines of the CTE thing, there's going to be more and more studies about what's going on to the damage of the brain. But on the flip side, there's going to be more and more technological advances to help prevent it too. Okay,
so you're definitely saying though that NFL will always be king and the NBA will become number 2? Because I'm not quite sure.
I can see that for sure. I'm almost positive that baseball's number 2.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I don't know which one is number 2 between the two of them.
I don't have the exact numbers, but I'd put an amount of money that I'd like on it that MLB is number 2 and
Then
NBA
you've
being
number 3, and then hockey being
close
number 4.
3. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hockey's down there.
All right. Well, keeping it moving forward with the
Golf
NBA.
might even be higher than hockey. Maybe.
Maybe. We'll see.
That's another story.
Yeah. So moving forward with the NBA though starts next week, as we've already brought up.
Yes.
So let's get a little predicting going on here to start
Just
this.
get a little taste. Just like to give the listeners a little taste of hoops.
Yeah. So who do you have this being another repeat? Warriors Cavs. I gotta know what your finals prediction is, and if there's another team who you think could be a surprise team. What are you thinking? Where are you at with all of the circus and mayhem that's gone around during free agency?
First off, let me just tell you, there's nothing better than talking both hoops and football in the same show. It doesn't get better. So I hope the listeners enjoy. When it comes down to the Cavs and the Warriors, I think the probability of that is higher than any other matchup, but I do think it's less than what it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
I do see a lot of other teams making a push. More so in the East than in the West. I still think that the Warriors are the team to beat in the West. But I think, like I said when I believe it was our first show, that the Boston Celtics will give the Cavs a run for their money.
Yes, you did say that.
Yeah, and a couple other teams possibly too.
All right, well, here's my pick. Here's what I'm saying. I definitely agree with you that the likelihood that it will be the two of them going at it again is very high between Cavs and them. But there's a team that I'm very intrigued about. Now, we've already talked about Golden State. We've talked about the Cavs. We've talked about Boston. We've talked about OKC. Now, there's a team that I just feel like isn't getting enough love, and that is the Timberwolves.
Hey, I wanted to mention the Timberwolves too, so kudos to you. Go ahead.
Right, so I want to talk about them, especially with this new contract extension that Andrew Wiggins has, 5-year deal, $146.5 million contract. And he's not alone. You know, you have Andrew Wiggins now, you have Karl Anthony Towns, and you got Jimmy Butler. The three of them together can make more noise than we're talking about as of late, because nobody's really talking about the Timberwolves. Everybody's talking OKC, everyone's talking Houston, everyone's talking Spurs, we're talking Cavs, we're talking Warriors, but this young crew down there, they can easily sneak up on anybody.
They could sneak up. It's just a shame that they're in the West.
Yes.
Because there's just too many good teams. I mean, give them a couple years, and if they could keep this crew together and maybe add a few more pieces along the way, you know, this will be definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Well, I don't even think they need a few more pieces. I think they
we'll
they
have
need
to see.
They need to build up maybe a little bit of depth on the roster. But if they get two, pretty good talents that can produce to start with with the other three monsters that we just named, they're good to go. That's what I really believe. If it's not this year, next year everybody should be talking about them. And you know what? I also want to give a little love to Washington Wizards. I don't want to forget about them. I don't want to forget about John Wall. But I definitely am feeling the Timberwolves, man. I'm really feeling them.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Timberwolves. And also, let's not forget, Houston will make their push for sure.
Especially though they didn't get
Melo,
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but just they can go bucket for bucket with the Warriors.
I don't
bucket
think
for
so.
bucket. That team can put up points with the best of them. What it comes down to is that Houston just doesn't play defense.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go. I was about to say they can't keep up with them because the Warriors play defense, and they'll be able to slow them down way more than...
They'll be able to keep up, and they'll be able to score points with them. It's just when it comes down to it and they need the stops, Houston's not going to be able to do that. They don't play defense.
See, I don't think so. See, even though they can score points, I don't think they'll be able to score points that easily against the Warriors. So I don't think they will be able to keep up because the Warriors' defense is kind of overshadowed by their offense, but their defense is not a defense to play around with. Their defense gets their hands on those balls. They get the tip balls. They get in the passing lanes. They're fast. So they arguably have one of the best defenders in the league in, his name
Draymond.
Thank you, Draymond Green. So that I don't see them being able to keep up with them point for point just because they have a good defense to go along with it, which is why Houston, to me, if they had Melo, that'd be a little bit different because now they have another offensive weapon who then you would have a matchup situation, I would say, between the three of them. But
Between who's the third?
Between James Harden, Chris Paul, and Melo, if Melo was there.
If Melo was there.
Yes, that would be a completely different conversation. But without Melo there, and it's just James Harden and Chris Paul, two really good point guards, I don't see them being able to do much, honestly. And I don't even know if they even get to face the Warriors. They may get knocked out before they even touch the Warriors by the Spurs. Or, hey, maybe the Timberwolves. You never know. You never know. And it's interesting that we're sitting here and we're talking all this about the West, but there's not much to say about the East unless you're talking Boston or Cavs.
Yeah, I mean, I a couple sleepers, like, I wouldn't totally count out the Bucks because they're a young, scrappy team, and got a good coach too, in Jason Kidd. And also, I think a key factor to the Bucks' success is if Jabari Parker can stay healthy, and if he can stay healthy for the entire year, that team, they will make some noise.
And yeah, and I also, like I said, we were talking Wizards before. I'm not gonna sleep too hard on the Wizards. Now, I don't think Wall can do it by himself. I don't think he could be a one-man wrecking crew out there like he tried to be last year.
No, he needs help.
Yeah, he needs a lot more help. So we'll see what happens with the East. I know everybody's basically more excited about the West. I'm just excited to see the next week's matchups. You have Boston versus Cavs right out of the gate.
And then you get the Knicks and OKC.
You do. So you have two star players facing against their former teams. I mean, I'm not really looking forward to the Knicks versus the Knicks versus OKC.
OKC?
That's not even going to be a good game. Let's just get that out the way.
It's just going to be interesting to see Melo
in
a different uniform against his old homeboys.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the trio together, to see
what they can, how much noise they can make.
Yes,
for real.
Absolutely.
Because if they can figure a way out to share the basketball and get into a rhythm and not have the ball stay in one person's hands for too long, that team could be very dangerous.
Yeah, it's gonna fall on Westbrook at that point. Westbrook's gonna have to.
Well, Westbrook will make things happen. He'll find Carmelo and
Paul George.
Paul George, he'll find them. He's gonna create for them. It's just, those are three players that are very ball dominant and who need volume.
But you know what? If Westbrook can just crash the boards as he does very well and then dish it out and spot up Melo, I think he'll take that every time. Yep. So
I also think that coach will find a nice rotation for that team to where when you're taking one of them out, you still got firepower out there. And I think a key to their success is finding the right rotation.
What do you think the right rotation would be? If you were the coach and I said, all right, two of these guys are going to take a break and one of them is going to stay in, who's the one that you would keep in?
I mean, first Melo comes out first because he's the oldest and he's the one that you got to cater to his injuries and his, he's the oldest and he's the more beaten up one. So he's the first one to come out. And then I think you probably keep Westbrook and Paul George in for a decent amount of time. I think this will be the year that Westbrook can finally get the rest that he needs. So once they get into the playoffs, he can be at 100% and not putting all those minutes on his body throughout the regular season. I don't really know the answer. I mean,
well, For me,
I mean, in the correct rotation, I think at all times you have one of them out there at all times.
one of them out there at all times is obviously going to be the thing, but I definitely would say if I was making this rotation, Westbrook has to be the one. If there's one who's going to be out there, Westbrook should be out there by himself because we've already seen what he could do by himself out there.
Yeah, if you're going to have more than one of them out at a time, what you would want, ideal situation is that it's Westbrook out there.
Yeah. And then the other, and then Paul George.
Let's not get it twisted. If it's Carmelo out there and Carmelo's having one of those mellow games, like he could be out there all by himself and he'll carry the team.
He can. But I would think the way that my brain is working right now, you have Westbrook out there by himself and he does what he does, and we've seen his magic already. All right, then Westbrook comes out of the game. You put Paul George and Melo back in together. That way, the two of them will be the help for the next point guard who may not be able to make plays on his own. So he has more weapons to facilitate the ball to.
I agree. I totally think that they got to take some of the weight off of Westbrook's shoulders. And I think bringing in Paul George and Carmelo will, they'll be able to take some of that off of him.
I couldn't agree more. But that's it for right now for our NBA talk. When we come back, we're going to get back into the NFL.
Didn't forget.
Yeah. We got some heavy debate that's about to come up. So we'll be right back on WUBA 88.1 FM. This is Cordell alongside Eric Alvarado. Stay tuned. Don't change that dial. And we are back here on the game plan. As usual, it's your host, Cordell Moody. Alongside with me, I got my man, Eric Alvarado. We were just talking NBA. We're getting right back into the NFL. Give you guys some heat. We got some heat now. We're getting into the sports more and more. We're getting out of that political stuff. We're getting back into what we love talking about.
Yeah.
So a game that we have not got to talk about this week is the Packers versus Cowboys game, the dominance that, Aaron Rodgers does. I don't even know if it's dominance anymore.
I like to call it magic.
Oh, whatever. So,
Wizardry.
So he leads his team for another comeback against this, I would say, woeful, very woeful Dallas Cowboys defense.
Yes.
What did you take away from this game? Whether you're talking Cowboys or Packers.
Well, both. I think what I took away from the game, obviously most important, Aaron Rodgers is still the man, and he will be able to make those kind of drives for you. But I think on a more negative note, it's that not only is Dallas's defense gonna hurt them, but I'm a little worried about the Packers defense too. And I think I have a little bit higher hopes for the Packers in their success this season than Dallas. And I think that their success could be hindered by their poor defense. And I think they should start thinking about maybe making a trade or looking to pick somebody up to help bolster up that side of the ball.
Who are we talking about exactly? Just to make sure we're clear. Are we talking
the
about
Green Bay Packers?
Green Bay Packers. Okay.
Yes. Only because I'm saying I feel like they will go further in the playoffs than Dallas. That's if Dallas even makes the playoffs. I'm already ready to pencil in Green Bay as playoffs.
Even with the Lions right there.
Will you knock it off with the Lions? I already told you the Lions are pretenders, man. All right, they're playing great ball, but they are pretenders. They have never given me any bit of confidence in them. Because this is what they usually do. They've done this in the past. They came out hot in the beginning of the season, and then they just disappear. And I think, with Green Bay right there, I just have a hard time seeing that. I'm willing to pencil in. Listen, I'm almost willing to say that Green Bay will definitely be in the NFC.
NFC Championship.
Yeah, the NFC Championship. Sorry.
Oh, that's bold right there. That's a take.
I don't even think that's a hot take.
That's a hot take for me.
I don't even think so. I think that they're just that good. But the only thing that will hold them back is their defense, because it is vulnerable, and Dallas did have some success, and Prescott too. Prescott had a decent game. I mean, he went 25 for 36, 251 yards and 3 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, but he was balling. He had a good game, and Elliott ran all over them for 116 yards.
Okay. Look. I'm not gonna go as far as you, as far as from this game that the Packers are going to be in the NFC Championship. I'm just not going to do it. I don't believe in them from just this game, even though Aaron Rodgers put up a nice performance against the Cowboys, again beating them after last year beating them in the playoffs. This game to me shows me that, one, Cowboys defense is horrendous and that they cannot win anything with this defense. And two, that I don't know, maybe it's just me, but Dak Prescott no longer is this impressive guy that he was last year. Maybe it's just me. I didn't think he was that impressive last year to begin with. I thought that the run game covered him up a lot. But now that
for sure.
Now that they're not running the ball as much and it's more on him, it's not like they're dominating anything anymore like they were last year. Now, some say that it's the offensive line and that the offensive line isn't the same either. Fine, that too can be a reason, but we've seen plenty of quarterbacks in this league be under fire and duress with their offensive lines not playing so well, not having a run, able to play brilliant games and bring their team to victories. And Dak Prescott, as of right now, is not that guy. As of right now, I'm not saying he won't be.
As of right now,
I'm just saying, right now he's.
I think the Dallas brass they feel the same way. And I think if the game against Green Bay is any indication, they're gonna try to get back to that run dominant type of team, because they gave Ezekiel Elliott 29 carries.
Mm-hmm.
29 carries. So they were really trying to pound the ball and take some pressure off of Dak. But Dak
and
still
the
had
defense. Take pressure off that defense.
Well, that was that. The defense wasn't good last year either.
Right, but they were covered up because they managed
They were
the
covered
clock.
up because they can take the time of possession away from the other team.
Exactly.
And I think Dallas's biggest problem is they just can't get after the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Which leaves your secondary totally vulnerable. And when your secondary is vulnerable and you're going against Aaron Rodgers, that's just a recipe for disaster.
Yes, indeed. And speaking of Aaron Rodgers, now you just said you like to call it magic. So the debate that everybody's been having is Aaron Rodgers, is he better than Thomas Brady?
I think this is a better way to preface this whole thing. Who would you rather? Or no. I think there's a few different ways we can look at it.
Okay.
If you were building
the
perfect quarterback.
See. Okay.
Well, then let's just make it very simple and put it in name terms. Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers?
I'm taking Tom Brady. There's no discussion about this for me.
And I also want to preface this whole thing by saying either one of them on your team's going to be successful. But what it comes down to is, this is the way I look at it. If you were building the perfect quarterback, right, with all the attributes that you would want in a quarterback, Aaron Rodgers has all of them over Brady, except for maybe one,
which is,
and that's what's between the ears. Okay, he's got the better football mind. I believe he's probably better at the line of scrimmage, identifying things and getting your team into a better position. Not that Aaron Rodgers isn't good at that, but I would not say that there's a better mind right now in the game than Tom Brady.
Right.
Now, this is what is your debate? That Tom Brady's got all these Super Bowl wins and whatnot?
No, absolutely not.
So then what is it?
That is that's a team goal, right? Even though you see the team tremendously to get those goals. my debate with him and with Rodgers is I don't even have to make a debate. Everybody else makes it for me. It is
What?
unbelievable because I've watched season after season, time in and time out. Jordy Nelson goes down, right? Aaron Rodgers doesn't have weapons. You can't expect the Packers to win. Aaron Rodgers has nobody to throw the ball to. Yada, yada, yada. They don't talk about Tom Brady the same way. That is not an excuse for Tom Brady. Nobody makes an excuse like that for Tom Brady. Gronkowski goes down. Edelman goes down.
Hey.
That is not an excuse for Tom Brady because he is that great, but nobody notices that they have a standard.
I agree. He is great. Okay, and he will go down as the greatest quarterback of all time. Right. But here's a question. So you're telling me if you put Aaron Rodgers in Tom Brady's shoes in that system, that he doesn't have the same amount of success?
I'm telling you he does not have the same amount of success.
All right, well, I think you're wrong.
And the reason I'm telling you that is because
look at the success that Garoppolo had and then even Brissett had for a little in their short stints when Tom Brady wasn't around. Still successful.
Hold that thought because his name is escaping me and it's frustrating me at the moment. But there was a guy, the backup quarterback for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers' backup. His name is not with me right now. Flynn. I think something like that.
Yes.
Right.
Flynn.
He goes into the game and set records that Aaron Rodgers himself didn't do, right?
No. He went into one game.
One game.
And threw like something incredible, like 4
right.
touchdowns.
So okay, right. So here's my thing.
But after that, where's he now?
Right.
Where's he now?
Okay. So here's my thing. I'm glad you said that. Where is he now? There's nobody, of course, it's same just like where is he now? He's gone. Same thing with the Patriots backup quarterbacks. Every one of them, where are they now? Except for Brissett, who's now out in Indy. With the Colts, yes, and he's playing okay. But anybody can have one good season. We've seen players have one good season and then be bad after that. That's no biggie. So for all these players that we use as examples that, they flourished in that system, they flourished in the system. Nobody knew anything about them yet.
So you think the whole system theory is a total
I think the reason
wash?
why I say
Listen, if you're playing inside the New England system with Coach Belichick, you're successful. It's just it's science.
Okay, it's science. This is okay. So let me ask you this: what is Belichick's specialty?
Everything.
No, get out of here. He has a specialty, just like everybody else does who's a head coach. There is a side of the ball that they are supposed to be the guru at. And I'll answer the question for you. It's not offense for Belichick. Belichick is a defensive guru. That is what got him his job.
I get it. But he is an offensive guru. He's a football guru.
He is not that. Listen, this is not.
He is.
Okay.
He's that.
Let me explain it to you. What was Belichick before Tom Brady? Nothing. He was a great defensive guru. He wasn't killing anything with offense. This isn't his first head coaching stunt. He did not have an offense like this. Tom Brady is what makes this offense. And for those people who say
he definitely makes them better.
No. What system do the Patriots run? Do you even know what system they run? Because I sure don't know what system they run. Because
you know what they run? They run Coach Belichick's system. That's what they run.
All right, let me break it down to you. And I've had this debate with people when it comes to, is Peyton Manning better than Tom Brady? Well, Peyton Manning has played with different coaches, and Tom Brady's always been under Bill Belichick. But Tom Brady's offensive system changes all the time depending on the personnel they had. When he first got into the league, they were playing small ball. No real wide receivers that you can name.
Right.
Small ball.
They're a game plan, like week to week.
Well, it's not even just week to week,
and also given the roster that they have,
right? Because
they adjust to it. But that's what great coaches do.
No, but not every quarterback can do that. When I say they can't,
no, okay, you're right. Not every quarterback, but that's what I'm saying.
But
because his mental capacity is greater than just about anybody.
But this is what I'm saying. This is why Aaron Rodgers won't be successful, because 1 minute Brady's playing with.
Crazy.
No, 1 minute Brady is playing with no type of receivers. Then he gets Randy Moss, sets records. Then he gets rid of Randy Moss and brings in 2 tight ends in Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez, and they're running a 2 tight end system set. Then Hernandez is gone. Wes Welker comes in. Their offense completely changes all the time depending on the personnel. And anytime Aaron Rodgers receivers like a Gordy Nelson gets hurt, their offense is in turmoil. He doesn't have the offensive weapons. So no, I don't see them being as successful in this system because he cannot make receivers better like Tom Brady does. That's all I'm saying.
I can make this very easy. Okay, and let me just give you the rundown. I'm gonna spit some things out. You give me your answer. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Who's got the stronger arm?
Rodgers.
Okay. So who's got the better deep ball?
Rodgers.
Who's got the better accuracy?
Debatable. I'm sorry. I've seen dimes.
Tom Brady's accuracy is decreasing a little bit. Aaron Rodgers has got the better accuracy.
I'm not gonna. I can't say that. Okay. You can say the stronger arm, but
I'm not even gonna ask these questions. I'm just gonna tell you.
No.
He's got the better deep ball. He's got the better accuracy. He's better in the pocket. He can do.
He's
things
not better
outside
in the pocket. He is
and when
not.
I mean, excuse me, sorry. When I say better in the pocket, I mean he's better at maneuvering the pocket because he's better because he's more mobile. So when he can also get outside the pocket. He's better at throwing on the run. He's better at everything except, and he can run too. And he's better at everything except for the mental.
No, see, here's my thing. It doesn't matter if you're better at it. For example, EJ Manuel has a better arm than Tom Brady, but we're not going to see right?
It might be stronger. It might be stronger, but that is absolutely it.
Right. Okay. Even if we were talking,
don't bring EJ Manuel into this discussion.
I'm just saying there are plenty of quarterbacks who can throw. Tyrod Taylor throws a better deep ball than Tom Brady does. I
still disagree.
No. That is actual fact. That is proven fact. I can't even have this. I won't go down that road with you. That when he has,
he might have a stronger arm.
No.
That's not my point. His deep ball is not as accurate. I can guarantee.
All right. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Anything that Rodgers can do besides being mobile, Tom Brady can do. That is what I'm trying to tell you. There is nothing that you can say that Tom Brady cannot do besides being mobile. That's the only thing Aaron Rodgers has that Tom Brady cannot do. I don't care if he's more accurate at throwing that deep ball. Tom Brady can still get that ball down there to that player. You've seen him do it, especially when he had deep threats to do it with. So what does Aaron Rodgers really have on him? Just the fact that he can move? That's it.
Everything.
No,
everything.
No.
And this is what I'm gonna leave it here, okay? Because
he crumbles under pressure more than Tom Brady. I just want to put that out there too. As far as clutch gene, I'm going Tom Brady.
I think that also comes down to the mental, because Tom Brady's he'll never waver ever. He'll never waver. Aaron Rodgers is the better quarterback, but Tom Brady's the more successful quarterback.
No, it's not. In order to be that successful, what is Aaron Rodgers doing to be successful? He will never be that successful. And what are you going to blame it on?
Numbers are always just as good.
Then why aren't they winning? Answer that. And don't tell me it's because of the defense, because Tom Brady, again.
No. But Tom Brady has played with some great defenses.
Tom Brady played with great defenses in the beginning of his career, but since then he's brought.
And you're just making my point for me.
No.
The reason why is because we're looking at the Patriots and Green Bay.
All right, let me try and bring it to you this way. If Tom Brady was on the Packers, he would be more successful than Aaron Rodgers is with the Packers. That is what I'm trying to tell you. Because
you think that Tom Brady is equally as successful as he is now had he played on the Packers his whole career?
I don't know if he's going to be equally. I'll tell you that. I don't know if he will be equally. I'm saying he will be more successful than Aaron Rodgers is with the Packers. That's what I'm telling you. Where you can look at everything that Aaron Rodgers has done, and I'm saying
So
he would
okay,
be more.
Do you think that Aaron Rodgers would be more successful in New England than
No,
he is
no,
in Green Bay?
no. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He
Well,
can't.
I'm
He
trying
can't
to tell
work
you
with
that you're
less.
wrong,
He
but you're
can't
not
work
hearing
with
me.
less. Let me. All right, here. This is why Tom Brady is better. He works better with less than Aaron Rodgers does. I'll leave it at that. He can do more with less, and that's what
Are you
makes
trying to
him
get the
better.
last word in?
No. I'm saying he can work better with less. Whether you said that he has lesser arm strength, you said he has less mobility, and yet he is playing better than Aaron Rodgers. Statistically right now, if we look at the numbers, all right? He is leading the number one ranked offense with less than what Aaron Rodgers is being blessed with. And
It's a fun debate to have. All in all,
it's not a debate. It's a fact.
all in all, when it comes down to it, any team would love to have either one of those quarterbacks.
Whatever. That's a cop out.
Whether one is 1A and 1B.
All right, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to move on real quick to two other quarterbacks, two younger quarterbacks who I'm sure we'll eventually probably have a debate between, and that is Cam Newton and Carson Wentz. They're going head-to-head tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football. Who do you have in this game?
Who do I have?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I love making picks. I'm going with the Eagles. I'm more sold on the Eagles. And
Why?
right now, I think Carson Wentz is playing MVP caliber football, and their defense is just really performing. They're really getting after the quarterback, and they're making things really hard on whoever's throwing the ball back there. And I'm more sold on Philly's team than I am Carolina's.
Well, what are you skeptical or hesitant about?
It's not that I just think that Philly's better this year than Carolina.
Okay, fair enough. I have been on the fence about this. I really can't make up my mind because I know
Not
what.
sure?
Like this could go either way. Honestly, it's a toss-up to me. I don't think one team is better than the other. I think they're both playing great football as of right now because Cam Newton is starting to look like the Cam Newton who was an MVP. He's starting to run the ball a little bit more. He's starting to get the ball downfield to his receivers a bit more. So I'm going to go with the Panthers in this game because I trust the Panthers' defense more than I trust the Eagles' defense. I don't trust the Eagles' secondary, and I think that Cam Newton can make some big plays happen with his legs and with his arms against that Eagles' defense. I know they got a pretty good front seven for the Eagles, but their back half is what's questionable.
That's my point. I don't see Cam Newton doing much with his legs in this game.
But I think he can do something with his arms.
Well, he may, but I think where Philly lacks in the secondary, they make up for it with their pass rush because their pass rush makes things a lot easier for their secondary.
Well, I will say that their pass rush has looked pretty impressive, but they haven't gone up against a mobile and strong quarterback like Cam Newton yet. To try and bring him down will be a feat of its own for them to do. So they may bring some pressure, but I definitely see Cam being able to escape some of that pressure and then exploit that secondary and make some big plays, extending plays with his legs just to get the ball downfield. So I'm going to go with the Panthers in this game. You're obviously going to go with the Eagles. We'll see which one of us is right. And until then, we will be back here on Friday, and we will give you all the picks for the other games that we have coming up. So it's been a pleasure, as always. I'm Cordell Moody. This is Eric Alvarado.
Yes, it is.
We will be back. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Can't wait to talk to you guys again on Friday.
Don't go too far.
Don't go too far. We'll be back here on the Game Plan, WUBA 88.1 FM, from me, Cordell Moody, and Eric Alvarado. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your week.
See you guys.